I just wanted to quickly remind everyone to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss when I put out a new video. I'm just a tiny channel, so I genuinely appreciate everyone's support so much. It really makes a huge difference. So let's get into a discussion of what happened with Cryaotic. Cry is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Cry wants to tell everyone he's taking accountability because he wants to change. However, there are two problems with this. Number one, I don't believe he's actually taking accountability. One sentence about how you cheated on your girlfriend with someone you didn't know was underage is not accountability. He's still trying to gloss over what he's done. He's trying to portray him speaking up now as heroic and brave. He's also opted for the poor me defense. But let's be clear, Cry is only sorry because he got caught. He himself admits that it took him until 10 minutes before his 31st birthday to realize what he'd done, as if multiple allegations coming out at once didn't have something to do with it. Yet, Cry also claims he's wanted to say something for years. He wants you to believe he stopped doing this years ago. However, that's not true at all. Lots of allegations are surfacing showing this wasn't a lapse in judgment. It was a continuous pattern of behavior that he engaged in with multiple victims for years. 18 victims that we know of, with the most recent being 2 days before his apology video. Some underage, some not. In my experience, anytime someone admits to behavior like this, what they are admitting to is just barely the tip of the iceberg. So just let that sink in for a minute. Cry also tries to qualify his behavior by stating it was only online, as if sending explicit pics of yourself to a minor is less bad because it was online. So, by his logic, the CP he received from underage fans was okay because it was online and not in person? I'm pretty sure that is still a crime. US laws are very clear about what constitutes a minor. I've also seen people say that a 22-year-old dating a 16-year-old is not illegal. Regardless of the legality where you live, let's put the age difference into perspective. That would be like a high school sophomore dating a college graduate. She's just learning to drive and studying algebra, and he's looking for a job to start his career. Men like this prey on younger people because that inexperience makes them easier to manipulate. It makes it harder for them to know what is normal in a relationship because they haven't had many, if any, relationships yet. Just because a 16-year-old is going through hormonal changes doesn't mean they're no longer a child. When you're 16, you do feel like an adult. But it isn't until much later that you end up realizing how naive you really were. Also, even if Cry's first time was a mistake, how did he not learn his lesson 17 times later? The late night crew has spoken out on Cry's behavior with varying reactions. Jung doesn't seem to have a complete grasp on the situation, and while he does condemn his behavior, he also offered a lot of excuses that I want to put to rest. Adults are responsible for maintaining boundaries with children. Adults are also responsible for maintaining boundaries with fans. If an adult hooks up with a minor even once, that's still a problem. Most men run when they hear the words underage or when they find out you're only 16. I've seen it firsthand. If a guy doesn't know you're underage, it's because he doesn't want to know. He wants to be able to indulge himself with plausible deniability for the repercussions. An adult with a large platform and easy access to teens should not be allowed the "it was only once" excuse. Secondly, someone having low self-esteem or being lonely should never be construed as an understanding of why they preyed on teens. Vulnerable, lonely adults exist too, but Cry continues to prey on minors. I also keep seeing people say Cry isn't evil, as if that somehow lessens the damage that he's done. I don't think he's stupid or beta. If you believe he managed to get away with this behavior for at least 8 years by sheer dumb luck, he has pulled the wool over your eyes, and you should re-examine what you think you know. While we don't know all the specific allegations, we do know that both Russ and Snake have firmly stated the things Cry has done are illegal. Snake also rightly points out that nothing about Cry's apology seems genuine, which I completely agree with. One sentence of the entire video is actually focused on an apology. The rest of the video he spends being philosophical and rationalizing why it's the world that made him this way. He also seems to imply his fan base contributed to his behavior by making him feel like he was perfect. That is toxic thinking, which shows zero accountability. It is not a child's responsibility to regulate an adult's behavior. He also blames his behavior on childish mentality, which is a ridiculous excuse. Regardless of how immature he may be, he is perfectly capable of knowing his real age. In addition to all that, Cry launched new merch the day he posted his apology video. Someone who is truly sorry and wants to take accountability for truly horrendous behavior does not go on to simultaneously plug his new merch. Cry legitimately seems to have thought he could put out an apology, everyone would be so impressed with how wise he is, and then he could go back to streaming per usual. Not only did he continue with his karaoke stream, he also planned to continue the LNC stream like nothing had even happened. My second problem with Cry's apology is his promise that he's already changed. No one changes 8 years of bad behavior in 9 days. For him to suggest this is demeaning to the victims, especially considering his most recent victim was 2 days before his apology. I do actually believe people can change, but when it comes to behavior that preys on children, blindly believing in that change is so dangerous. That type of behavior is very deep-rooted and insidious. We all know that change is hard, but when it comes to situations like this, the stakes are so much higher. One slip-up could permanently damage a child's life. Just because someone gets better at saying the right things doesn't mean they've actually changed. I do think people like this should seek help, but it absolutely should not be on a platform where they have access to teens. I've also seen his birthday stream being excused as quote-unquote manic behavior. However, I think it's far more likely we are witnessing the realization that his horrendous behavior is finally catching up with him and could end his career. And he certainly wasn't manic during his June 20 karaoke stream, where he was callous enough to assume he could still sell new merch to the fans he had taken advantage of. Let me be clear, Cry has shown no true remorse. In tweets, he has attempted to say what he thinks everyone wants to hear, but behind the scenes he has revealed his manipulative side. Leaked messages have shown that he saw the situation as a game that he could try to win. Don't let his exterior fool you. He is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Let's stop supporting the victimization of children in hopes that maybe someone who has done horrible things will change. So, what are your thoughts on the Cryaotic situation? Did you listen to his apology? Are you conflicted? Do you have questions about it? Feel free to share any of your thoughts in the comments below. And if you like the type of content that I put out, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Thanks again for listening.